Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
I suppose that some of you know the experience of being quite frustrated because your choir is not doing what you want them to do. And I suppose that you all know the challenge of staying cool and confident with your choir, or while leading your choir, through a very demanding piece. So for such situations and many more, we designed an app which is called the Conductors Coach. So I'm very happy to introduce you to this coach. And I'm very happy that this app was designed by Schumacher. I think I don't have to present him. He's very famous, so if you don't know him, you just have to speak to him. And so it was Jan who had the idea and who designed it, and it was Carus, the publishing house. We tried to make it work and did the technical stuff behind. So Barbara Mohn is one of my colleagues, very experienced editor at the end, taking photos for my colleagues at home. And I'm Ester Petri, one of the managing directors at Carus. So, our goal with this app was to help experienced conductors to refresh and to improve on special topics you perhaps are always struggling with. And of course, to help young conductors to get routine and training in conducting. So it's all about lifelong learning. And as I learned yesterday, it's also one of the themes for the European Choral Association. So a good conductor always keeps on training, like every musician is training on his instrument, perhaps every day or at least sometimes during the week. So we wanted to help to have an efficient physical training of conducting. That your gestures are precise, your cues are clear for your choir, and your choir so knows what you want them to do. And please let me spoil this. This app helps to develop or improve your conducting technique, your skills on conducting, your craftsmanship, but it is not designed that everybody afterwards is conducting like Jan Schumacher does. You can, you're allowed, but you don't have to, and it's really not the aim. So it's really, the aim of the app is to teach fundamental skills that enables you as a conductor to develop your own unique conducting style. And it's not about imposing a uniform style to everybody. That's, I think, very important. So how did we do this, or how did Jan did it? There is a whole bunch of content we produced, and Jan did a fabulous job because he did it in 3 days, all these videos. There are 69 tutorials and 73 video exercises on 11 topics. And we are very proud of 5 special tools we conceived that your exercise is even more easy and more helpful. And I can already spoil that there will be an English pronunciation coach coming up in October. I will show you later. So, I will explain you a little bit more about the structure you will find in every topic, and then Jan will explain more about the topics. So, there are the 11 topics, the 11 learning modules. There's a question?
There's just I just need to say that there's going to be a voiceover now. The recording was a bit weird, so the intro will not, unfortunately, be included in the recording. But everything from now on will be in the recording. Okay?
Great.
Right. So.
The session is recorded.
Recording in progress.
So there are 11 topics. Jan will tell us more about them. So, and in these learning modules, in these topics, you always have tutorials where Jan is explaining what it is about. And then there are exercises, and where Jan shows what you should do or what you could train on them. And there are 5 tools. We will show you in the app later how the tools work. I think the most important, or what we wanted to have, is to have support for your exercise. So there's always a webcam you can put on, and you can see if you're really doing the same way as Jan is doing it, and you should do it while conducting. So I think this is it, and I think the most important is really the topics. So Jan, would you please?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Esther. Thank you for coming. I just want to underline what she said. Please don't conduct like me. Take these videos as ideas. And I want just shortly to explain where it comes from, this idea. This has to do with this book, because we were together with two colleagues writing this conducting book at Carus. Thank you, Carus. If, how to say this politely, if some of you is addressed in future and asked to write a conducting book, I would recommend you to say no. It was quite a hard work.
It took us 4 years.
4 or 5 years, and endless nights, 2 marriages were spoiled also. So it was really hard work. But the outcome is very nice. So, so my task was to write about the conducting part. And I found it difficult to put movements into words. This is something, I think it is not too bad what we did, but of course it's more easy if you can see something. And this is where this idea with the app came from in the beginning. I mean, 10 years ago you would have done a DVD or something, or 30 years ago a video cassette, but these times are luckily over, and now we have the internet. And we can make these videos available, and you can just try to find all these different ideas that are written here, there, and you may compare. You can use the book and the app separately. It is not needed to have both, but it goes hand in hand. And what I want to explain is how we structured this. And this is not really true, but we tried also to think about a little gamification idea of this app, you know, because when you go through the chapters, this is building step by step. It's the same way like I teach conducting. And so you would, for example, not teach a student in the first semester how to conduct 11/8 bar, because he will obviously not need this in the first semester. So you would do that later. And that is exactly also how the whole thing is structured. So we can have a look into, first I give you an overview. You see the first chapter is about the body, and you can see that we have 5 explanation videos and obviously no exercises. In the explanations I also add some tips how to train. But here it's about really the basic thing. Then we have some more specific things about the body. We will have a look into detail. Then it's about pulsation. Esther, maybe you can just go to the next page that we show randomly. Then we have first part conducting patterns. We have cues, Auftakt, and we have cutoffs. And you already see that we have number 1. So you can imagine that there is a number 2 coming. You will see very soon. So on the next page we have the more differentiations, and here you can see already from the amount of videos that this is going to be a bit more tricky. Then we have the topic of independence of the hands, and we have conducting patterns number 2, and then we have cut-offs number 2, and we have a second chapter of more differentiations. So, okay, let's go back to the first page, please. When we start talking about conducting, or when we try to teach to beginners how to conduct, the most important thing is first just to make people aware of their own body. Probably some of you have worked with students, and some of them don't feel a connection to their body at all. They don't know how to stand or to sit or whatever. So that is sometimes a first step. And maybe we can open the first chapter to see what exactly we have here. I will just give you a little overview. You have to jump to, okay. Yeah, good.
This is not the right one, this is the right one. Yeah. First chapter you want to go to?
Yes, please. And we go up. Brilliant. We will try out this all later, but you already see how it works. Yeah, now open,
where do you
please.
Want to go?
The first open.
The first.
Yes. Wonderful. To the topic. So there is always a little introduction video, yeah? And Then, deportment, nice, I never saw the English version. Go down, please. And so this is about your inner position and, of course, about your outer position. I remember when I was a student, I had a professor for singing, and she was in her early years, she was announcer even in German TV. She was beautiful. And she was able to go into a room and no one would see her, but she was also able to go into a room and make everyone aware that she is there without saying anything. And I think this is something we all have experienced, and this is something that we can really train. Or there is a very nice book about conducting from an orchestra player. It's called The Perspective of the Tutti. And he writes in that book that he says, okay, I'm a professional orchestra player since 40 years, and I can see when the conductor comes from the door to the podium, before he even raised his hand, I know if this collaboration will work or not. Because there is so much already in this beginning, and I think that is something we are not always aware of. Or maybe you have experienced that your choir singers come to you after a rehearsal and they say, oh, today you were not in very good mood. And you thought, well, I thought I could hide it quite well. And we can't. Okay, they will see everything. And we should not hide it, but we should be aware of this. And this is what we are talking about here. Then, of course, I mean, this is obvious that all we do is connected with our breath, the singing, of course, but also our conducting, and just being aware of this and being aware of your voice. These are the first important things that we just should be aware of. Now we can go, Esther, here, then you already see how nice this app is functioning, to the next specific things about your body. Again, there is a little introduction, and then, yeah, how do we stand? Or do we have also different options to stand? And also this is something we should just check. Then we have these ankles. Our elbow, no, elbow is here. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. And to be aware of these three ankles is really an important step. And there are some basic exercises here. We don't need to do it, but just with beginners, they should just move their arm or even stretch their arm to get a feeling for this, or you do this, I don't know. Very basic ideas about this, just to get aware. Then we have a triangle. If we stand like this and if we raise our hands to a basic conducting position, by the way, where is a good point? Also, this is in the app. You can try. If you put your hand like this, and this is parallel to your body, that's probably a quite good position. If it's too far, your connection to the choir is not there. If it's too much in front, you cannot support them. So little things like this. And if you position your hands here, you have here the mathematics, is it hypotenusis? I think it is. And then the top of the triangle is here, and here is your center, where all the music is formed and where you feel. And this is also a very simple exercise we can even do together. Can you take your finger, put it here, and just push a bit inside, then you see how your body collapses. And then when you open it, that's maybe 1 centimeter, but it's a world of presence, you know, and that is the center of this triangle. So we are trying just to do this. And then we have hand and hand position. Also here we can discuss, we know a lot of colleagues conducting like this all the time, which is maybe good for some parts, but when you do it 2 hours, not so beautiful. And just to try how it feels, and also to try how it feels, but this will come in a later chapter, to have different positions. Of course, maybe for beginners that is not totally needed here, but you should be aware. Okay, then pulsation. This is a nice chapter, because I was discussing 10 years ago with a colleague about the basic beat. And for him, he said, for me, conducting is a falling movement. And I said, no, but for me, conducting is a pulsation movement. And in the end of the day, it's the same move. Yeah, we are talking about the same move, but the feeling is different if you feel it as a falling or as a pulsating movement. And this is very interesting, because when you have students who do not really feel comfortable or don't understand even what this meant with a pulsation, you can tell them, okay, try not to think of a pulsation, try of a falling movement. So different approaches for the same thing. And we wanted to include this also here, to give ideas also for us, for the teachers. So how can we help a student coming from different direction to talk about the same thing? What we also are able to introduce here, as speaking about this general pulsation, is the general movement of conducting. So what do we have? We have a pulsation, and then we get over gravity by going up, and at a certain point, gravity is pulling us back, and we go down. So, and then it's the next pulsation, and that is, if we sezieren, what is the name for this? If we go like a operating and checking what is our movement consisting of, then we have this, yeah? Pulse, go up, and then we have the point of changing and the go down. And the first goal, and now we're coming to the conducting patterns, the first goal for the students is that you manage a conducting movement which is perfectly balanced between this pulsation and the transition movement between this. The perfect balanced movement in all tempi, and in all figures. And if you can do this, it is a very small step then to get better. Because as soon you start, no, I tell you later. So let's have here. What is with the conducting patterns? Of course, we should first introduce where is this conducting basis, where is the plane of this, and usually I think we are taught that it's around here, where the breathing is. And later, of course, we can change the level of conducting, but here in the beginning, for me, it is very important for the students to fix it first. If you have fixed this, then you can change whatever you want and however you want, but you should first know where it is. Then we have the different patterns, conducting in one, how does it work? Then we have the first practice videos. We will show this to you very soon. Esther, maybe you can go down. Thank you. Conducting in two. Good. And then we have something interesting already. Oh, go ahead. They have, where do we feel a pulsation? For moving just in one or for getting the feeling for a pulsating movement, you don't need this. But now it's starting that we try the students to give more and more details. So when you feel the pulsation just here, it's good for the start, but then you should focus more and more to bring this in the front to your hands, because the fingertips are the connection to the choir or the orchestra, whatever you conduct. Maybe you have seen some colleagues with a very loose wrist. They need to do much more movements, because if your fingertips are not connected with the ensemble, you get stressed and you think, oh, I have to do more. They don't understand what I want. If you take all to your fingertips, you probably don't need so much movement. So this is why I thought it's good to have it already here. And the next is that what we already were saying 2 minutes ago, the clear pattern, the balance between beat and connection. So then we have the conducting figure for 3, and conducting figure for 4. And maybe, Esther, we can show for 30 seconds the first, how does conducting in 4 work? So that you just get an idea how this is looking. Nice smiling. I bought a beautiful blue shirt for this. Also, I planned to lose weight before shooting videos. It did not work. Now I'm with overweight. But okay, no problem. Yeah? So let's see.
Attention, there is an English version, so...
Yeah, someone else is speaking English, luckily. Okay, so it's like really vanilla.
The pattern for conducting in 4 looks like this.
So,
Beat 1 goes straight down onto the conducting plane.
auf der Dirigierebene. Aus dem Takt
You use the beat to create new energy for an inward movement.
nach innen. Dort
That's where you place beat 2. For beat 3, your hands move outward. Place your beat 3 there. Place beat 4 between where you placed 1 and 3,
und der 3. Es folgt
followed
eine Aufwärts-
by an upward movement that prepares the next downbeat.
vorbereitet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, you don't need to watch that. But we have another camera position also, so it's very fancy. Auch diesen Bewegung.
You can also perform.
What did I say? Okay, let's not listen. This is an example for these explanation videos, okay, where we go step by step, and we can already go. No, this we do later when we try out. Maybe Esther, would you go back to the overview, please? No problem. So there is, we can already see it here, that the next chapter is rhythm as a fundament. Can we do something together? Can we conduct together in 4? And because that's more easy if we do it together, then I don't need to explain to you.
Yeah.
Let's do, yes, please.
Oh, can I ask a question? The order that you teach,
Yes.
the conducting patterns, what is your rationale for the teaching of the conducting patterns?
Actually, this is a very good question, because I thought later that maybe I should have done it differently. Or let's say there are different options to teach that. When I was a student myself, I come from this school that you first do like a 1 beat to feel this pulsation. Actually, later I would say I discovered that for many beginners, the 1 beat is quite difficult.
Very hard.
Yeah. So to start with a 2 or a 3 might have even been more clever than this way. Why I did it like this is because in the step before we did some exercises like just swinging the arms, you know, and just to get in this pulsation, and from there to go automatically to some kind of pattern. But your question is very good, and I think that this is one option, and maybe the other option to start with a 2 or a 3 could be the better one, you know, but it depends also a lot, of course, on the students and what you have. Interestingly enough, I was teaching for some years really beginners, but who were having other major subjects in the instruments. And for them, it worked quite well with the 1, because they were already trained musicians, you know. But for others, this starting first with some kind of figure also helped. So it's a very good question, actually, and I'm not sure if I would always follow like this, you know. So, but I thought that here in the first chapter of these patterns, it is good to have just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And later we have the more strange or crazy rhythms. Okay, but what we wanted to do is that we do together a 4, and you just feel the quarter note. Okay, let's do boom, 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 boom. Now we feel 8 notes, and yang, tang, 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 tang. Maybe you feel 16. Or triplet, and even we can do a dotted rhythm. And I think we all recognize, probably we all knew before, but it's always interesting to recognize that depending what you feel in your body, your movement is changing. And even you cannot do it with a subdivision, so just keeping the usual beat. But if you feel inside, then you can transmit it. And this is something which I teach quite early here to make, and this is not only for rhythmical choir music, it's for classical as well, that it is so important to feel the basic. Okay, then we have conducting in 6, and maybe Esther, we shortly jump to the next chapter. Yeah, cues, that's pretty clear what cues are about. Starting the piece. And we have some exercises also here. I made the experience that for many students, when they are already in a moving, then it's more easy for them to learn cues instead of starting from the point, which is the second step after. And then we have, of course, that's clear, the cue on the beat. And Esther, go down, please. And the cue between the beat, which is quite logic, that this is a different movement. And also here, you first train it from already ongoing pattern. 3, 4, bum, bum. Yeah, and etc., etc., etc. And then you start from the point, bum, bum, which is a bit more tricky. Yeah? But I think it is important for students to learn right from the beginning the difference between the cue on and between the beat, because later you don't need this only for cues, you also need it for phrasing and for rhythmical clearness, okay? Then next chapter is very short, cut-offs, and I think we don't need to say a lot about this. It's basically the same movement like starting, but just end, okay? So we skip that and we go to differentiation. So now, of course, we are talking about music things. So until here, I think many things were very technical, and they are, because it's a nap about conducting technique, so it is technique. But when you start to change the regular move, so when you think what we were saying 5 minutes ago, when we change the regular balanced moving, so the points and the transition between the points, then you can influence the music. Okay, so you can see that we have here written articulation, and the lower it's dynamic variations. So if you start to vary your normal 4-beat and make the points stronger, of course it's logic that you get a louder dynamic. And if you do the points less strong, then you probably will get a less loud dynamic. If you do the points a bit shorter, can points be shorter? Philosophic question, I don't know. If you do the points shorter, then you will get staccato. If you do them almost not there anymore, you will get a legato. This is very basic, but it is as easy as it sounds. And for young students who are beginners, this makes a lot of sense. And to give them this structured idea, okay? You have your basic movement, and when you change something in this movement, the music will change as well. And so this is what we try in the beginning of this, and you say that we have, you see that we have different exercises, of course, also here. Then we have subdivisions. So what times we have? We have a standing subdivision, and we have a rebouncing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we have a equal, I don't know how it's called in English. What did I say there? Ah, yeah, and then we have a tenaire also. Then we can just do a wrist subdivision. So all different kinds of subdivisions you can find here. Yeah, I don't need to teach you because you know it, but here you can check again. So then we go down, Ester. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. We need to get faster. Syncopations, okay. Accents, okay. Good. And rests, what to do in rests. This is also interesting. Though I talk about different places where are rests in the book. Maybe I can also tell about this, because this we cannot do everything here in the app. In the book we have for all this a lot of music examples, you know, where you can just check at different kind of breaks and different kind of fermatas, etc., etc., etc. Here we have only some ensembles. Then caesuras, how you show it caesura, phrasing and melodies, how you can influence this with your hands, how you can show text, and fermata, of course, is a big topic also. Then we have, you see 8 minutes, there are a lot of fermatas. But they come in so different circumstances, you know, and so we take a bit of time for fermatas. Until here, thinking again about the teaching, until here, I would say that all the things we had here can be done with parallel conducting. Of course, if you have good students, they already recognize, maybe if I do different things with my hand, it could be more clear. And that's the nice point, because usually here, many students come from themselves and then, can I do different things with your hands? Yes, you can. It is called independency. So, and we try to introduce this kind of independency in a very basic way. So just first, maybe you change your hand to 3, 4, and then with left, and then you change it 2, 2, 3, and you change it 3, and people will be happy. And then the next exercise is that you beat here, then maybe you do a crescendo over here, and you do decrescendo. This very basic practice, but just to get a feeling as a young student for this independency. And then when you can do it here, you should also be able to do it here. And then you should do it for 2 bars, and etc., etc. So you see we have some ideas like this, and alternate right and left to what we just do. Show cues with the different hands. Then we have this variation in hand position. Also, this can be very basic. Let's do together. One hand is like this, one hand is like this, and we conduct a 4-beat. Good luck. And 1, 2. Okay, for you it's not a problem, but for students it is. Now then, next time you change. And change. Maybe now one hand like this. I don't know. Whatever. You know, it's you can do what you want. But we just listed some things that the next step for them is to discover this. And rhythm is, I think, a very clear and good tool for independency if one hand beats the figure and the other shows the melody. For example, Brahms, because it's in the book, Schicksalslied, Ihr wandelt ruhen. A lot is parallel, good, and then you keep Licht auf weichem Boden. And so you can start very, very easily, just that they recognize, okay, I can show with one hand just the rhythmic structure of the phrase, and the other hand is going on. And that is super easy as the next step, to practice this independency. So then, of course, it's clear that you can show dynamic changes with that, and maybe, Esther, we can go down just to give the little overview. And yeah, suggestions like, okay, you can give cues with this hand, or here, just to change, and some more practical exercises. Good, then we have the second set of conducting patterns. Obviously, now it's getting a little more complicated with conducting in 5. Then we have 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, of course. Then we have also the subdivided form of 3 half, so 1 and 2 and 3. And we have asymmetric things, etc. You know, of course, what it is about. And giving some hints also with the 7. So if you have the one beat where 3 8 notes are thought, you should reduce a little bit the tempo of your movement. Because if you go on, no one will understand what you do. If you keep the size, then it's clear. Okay, but these are little tips, and we have listed this here. Then the problem with the 3, when you have one beat and you have 3 under it, that always collapse. Yeah? Or usually, oh no, come on, play in tempo. And if you start doing this, it will get worse. Because then your bouncing goes down, and if you look to people like Carlos Kleiber in Vienna concert, they would keep the flow all the time. They would never stress this, because that doesn't lead anywhere. But it's really difficult to learn. So that is why it's coming so late. Hemiolas, of course, that's clear. And then we have cutoffs number 2, where it is a bit more differentiated also about the text. So what you do when you have to show te in the end. Yeah? Nacht. Okay, it can work. But do I do the te or do I do in the end? It's questions like this. Can we do together, and can we do te together in the end? So Nacht, night. Okay. Nacht. So no problem, because okay, if I have to do the te here, I have to do before. Okay, now let's do on here, okay? And then you follow just the te, okay? Well, very nice, okay? It works. But now you can show both, okay? So I would, and this is actually also how I teach this. So now we do it in a way that we do it really nice. So then I can show both. You can take. And of course, you would never do it as long, but can we do it in this stupid way? Okay, I show it. And so we have na. Yeah. Of course, you would never do it. Yeah? But it's important to feel that you have it in your hands, and to show the students, look, you can do crazy things. So that is coming here, okay? Or what do we do when we have text cut-offs between phrases? So then I have to show text with impulsation, okay? So that is all here in this chapter. So it says transition with consonants. 2 pieces of information in 1 stroke. Stroke is nice. I thought it's medical thing. And so we had in the conducting class here locus iste, for example, and sometimes you have to end one phrase, factum Carus est in estima. And so you end one phrase in piano, you have to show the consonants, and the next phrase already is starting on the next beat in mezzo forte. So what you do? I mean, you have to send two informations in one beat, and this is tricky for beginners, of course, but maybe sometimes also for experts. So that is why we have this here. And the final chapter, differentiations number 2. Esther, I'm spoiling totally your timing, right?
No,
Sorry.
No. A little bit.
So there is one very nice word, and I want to stress this. Can you go back to the first? Expand your toolbox. And this is what Esther said in the beginning. So no one should conduct like me, but what you have here in this is a toolbox. And if you have a toolbox, you can use the tool you need. I know colleagues, I know even students who asked me, they were begging, they can say, Jan, please, can you tell me how to conduct this bar? And I told, I will not tell you. You have to find out yourself. I can give you 5 options, but you need to be aware which option you take yourself. And this is basically what is behind also this. We have a toolbox, and you can choose the tool that you need, okay? So, and here, of course, when we come to more difficult things, what to do in tempo changes. So when you go from 4 to 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, you get faster, 3, 4, 1. When do you change? When you change on 1, this is not very elegant. When you have 1, 2, 3, getting faster, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is elegant. If you change on the part where it's not stressed, you know. So little things like this. Or when you have a ritardando. When you start what? When you introduce ritardando and subdivision at the same time, no one will understand this. Yeah? So you have to introduce either getting slower and then subdivide, or subdivide and then get slower. So just details like this. Okay, Esther, thank you for pushing me that we have to go back. We wanted to show a second video, right? Maybe it's not time, but someone wants to try the app and try one of this practice video. Exactly. And someone volunteering to try? Someone volunteering? Maybe you go to the 4 beat and we... I wanted to show one video where we also have music examples. Now it was very technical, but we have, of course, some examples also where we talk about scores which are then shown in the videos. This is also very nice, but maybe first someone wants to try something.
An easy one.
Yes, go to conducting patterns, go to 4 beat. And we want to show you also with this the tools that Esther mentioned already in the beginning. So what things we have, and so does someone
has to come.
Someone want
Because
to try?
I'm not a conductor.
Yeah, please. Now I'm curious what will happen, because if we you try out and let's see if it's logic what we did.
So one of the tools is that you can add a webcam.
Oh.
And I start the exercise, and you're just repeating what Jan is doing.
Even my shirt is the same.
Yeah. Carus blue.
No, Carus blue is darker.
Good.
So, and you can
Yeah.
activate the metronome.
You can just try out. Yeah, push some buttons.
Oh.
You can do it here. All those ones. You can see them. It's a little bit tricky with the light.
Okay, maybe something else. Too much metronome is.
Yeah, you take this one. Actually, it's the conducting pattern. You can, and you can even move it in the.
You can move it a bit.
Where you want it to have. Yeah, you just.
How can I move it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Can I change the tempo?
Yeah. And you have to take another exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
you
want to
can
change
also
the
make
tempo.
this pattern smaller or bigger with
Yeah.
this arrow.
So I'm going to leave you. You just down there in a minute. What are you doing?
Well, left.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Are you leaving stuff here? No. I also need a coffee really badly. Me too.
Just as a little help, you know. Let's see that.
What'd you do? Took a photo. Very good, but because of the screen.
Even overlay over that.
It doesn't matter. Send them.
Yeah, you can give it done if he's doing right, absolutely.
Beautiful weather today.
So this. Now you have this overlay function. This is quite nice.
Oh, this. Oh, yeah.
Can you see yourself?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, my God.
Myself.
Team.
Maybe it's because you have the same shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is some. Of course, I mean, we all have dreams how this could develop, or what else we could do. So thank you so much for trying. So of course, some people were already saying, "Oh, that would be so nice to have this with music." Actually, that something is really happening. But of course, you can imagine that already this what we did here is horribly expensive. And if you think next steps, then you get into financial things. A German publisher could probably not pay.
Fermatas are
By a
stopping
lot
points.
of scores, perhaps you could.
So I see that as a start. You know, that is a start to create something from where we can create other things or create more interesting or more crazy things. But at least we have something. This is an example for a different kind of fermatas. So that to prove I did not lie to you, that we have score examples also here. And maybe Esther, I should show this little exercises from the other book. Is that okay? Or you
I
also
first
need?
want, I need
you-
a little slot and then you.
Please, please. You are the boss.
We continue practicing. I just need to get back here. So. Yeah. No music video. So Jan already told that the first there was the idea of the book. So this compendium, which we also conceived for really lifelong learning. It's for students, of course. It's for teaching at university choral conducting or wherever teaching choral conducting. But it's also for the experienced ones if you just want to have a new idea, get an input. And there is Jan, of course, who did the conducting part. It's Anne who did the rehearsing part. And
I want strongly recommend the rehearsing part of Anne. This is fantastic. She's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there is a voice training part of Klaus Brecht. And so really the app refers to the conducting part, and there are QR codes so you can find the right place in the app. But you, as Jan already mentioned, you do not need the app to read the book or to use the book, and you do not need the app to.
You don't need the book to use.
Yeah, you can use separately and you can use it together. And at the moment, I have to say that unfortunately, there's just a German version of the book. So if you just speak English, you have to use the app at the moment.
Or wait, yeah.
Yeah. Or wait till, I hope, beginning of next year, middle of next year, there will be an English version as well. So, easy. And I really want to thank, because Jan already mentioned, it's very, very expensive. It's even more expensive than doing scores. It's doing apps. So we were very happy that for the German versions, we had the support of the German federal state. And for the English versions, for the book and for the app, we have the funding of the European Union. And we are very, very lucky that we had the opportunity as Carus to join the Choral Ties project. Because without this project, it wouldn't be possible. So thanks for the European Union. I don't know how it is in your European countries. In Germany, we often tend to complain about European Union because there's a lot of annoying regulation. But often we miss or skip that there are good things like funding opportunities. So we are very happy that we have this. And as I already told you, I think we are too late now, but I can show you later on. It's Singing in English, the feature which is coming up. It is done by Nicholas Koch, an Oxford native speaker, so he's really the best to tell you how to sing in English. I didn't know before that there are some sounds in English you sing differently than when you speak them. So it's the same structure. You can see there are always explanation videos, and then there are exercises where he's really showing you how to pronounce English. And if you want to know when we launch this, you can stay informed by subscribing to our newsletter. Same for our English version of the book. And now, as we say in Germany, there are always 3 good things. So we have this compendium, we have the app, and we have this little small edition. There are, I don't know how many exercises in there, a lot. And what is really nice as well, that there's also, I can show you, there are also, of course, scores. There's really music in there, which refer to the conducting and the listening part. So it's really about training the things which are also in the book. So, and now, don't be afraid, there's a lot of German coming up on the next slides, but Jan will guide us through, because we want to practice again, I suppose.
Yes.
We want to practice again.
Maybe to add something, this actually was the first idea of Anne and me. Because,
it was a very, very tiny idea, and it became a big.
unfortunately, then we did this. No, but I think I met her the first time 15 years ago or somewhere, and when we said we should have just a little book where we put together all exercises that we do with our students, just to have them listed, you know, and ask colleagues, what exercise do you do? And many of these exercises you all know, but some others maybe not. And we are very happy that in the end we could tell Carus, please let us do this book, because that is what we originally wanted to do. And
not always so easy to convince.
The exercises we have. So first, there is a little chapter by Anne about teaching conducting. And as many of you do that, I think we all experience that this is a very touchy thing to teach, because that has to do so much with the personality of the person, and how to speak about criticism, how to tell someone things. I mean, I think it is really, really something touchy, and you can hurt students quite easily in conducting teaching. And also, this I always experienced in my academies, you always teach this together, you know. So of course you have some single lessons, but when they are in front of the choir, this choir consists of their colleagues. So you are always learning while others watching you. I mean, if I want to study piano, I can sit at home for 8 hours and study alone. But we conductors, we practice, and we are watched while practicing. And that also means that your colleagues in the academy, they think they can judge what you do. And they do, you know. So this is a very, very tricky thing, how to create a good atmosphere in feedback, and etc. So that is a really nice text by Anne. And then just to tell you, we have some exercises about these body things, which we were telling half an hour ago, and a lot of conducting etudes. Yeah? And I wanted to show you, okay, and just to add, we have some exercises also about just regular music things, about tempo, about rhythm, about notes. Also, this is now only in German, but it will come in English. And let's do together 2 or 3 exercises. As you are all experienced, I will not need to explain this. It's in German, but no problem. You don't need to understand nothing, because you can read notes. So we have to do it together. We do 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Last time. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Let's do it piano. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Crescendo. And 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Next slide. Aha! Now we have this, what I was telling you about. So you see also here, this little book also goes hand in hand with the app, because that is also an exercise we had in the app. So we conduct together 4 beats, and then we give a cue, Auftakt for 1, okay? We imagine that a voice, let's say the tenors, they start in 1. So 1, 2, 3, and tenor. Good. Go back. One more time. 1, 2. You can say 1 maybe. 1. Beautiful. Very German. 1. Next time on 2, and 1, 2. Aha, so we have to breathe. 2. Can you breathe also? And 2. And 2. And on 3, and 1, 3, and 1, 3. Good. 1, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 4. 2, 4. Yeah. Okay. So this is easy when we are already in the movement. Esther, next slide. What I have here. Ah, no, this is okay. No, great. Okay, now we have to do the entries between. So let's take first line. We have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Then we do the second bar and 1. Bam, 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 bam. Da 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 da. Third bar and 1. Da da da. 1. Da da da. 1. Da da. And last bar 1, 2. Ba ba. 1, 2. Da da. Yes. This is a super easy exercise, and I have done this with all my students, but I never took the time to write these notes down. Here I did. I remember it was 3:45 in the morning, and I was after a bottle of red wine. It's true, and I was saying, oh, shit, let's do the next line with the breaks. Because what is interesting, when we have 8 notes, then bam bam, it's quite clear. But when we have a different rhythmic, then we have to also give a different pulse. So when we have 1, 2, 3, da dum, 2, 3, da dum. 2, 3, ta-dam, 2, 3, ba-dam. Okay, let's go to the next line and to the first beat in the next line. We have 1, 2, 3, da-da-da-dim, 2, 3, ba-ba-ba-bim. Okay, did you recognize that when you have B or C, the impulse you give is the same? But what happens after the impulse? That is different, okay? When you have the B, you have ta-dam. And when you have C, you have ta-ta-ta-dam. The pulse is exactly the same, but the curve of the transition is different. Ta-dam. You fly, let's say in B, you fly from Berlin to Madrid, and in C, you only fly from Riga to Tallinn, okay? Ta-ta-ta-tam, yeah, instead of ba-dam. So this flying curve. And for triplets, of course, it's the same. Let's do D. 1, 2, 3, yum pam pam bim pam bi da da ding da 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 ding. And E is clear. 1, 2, 3, da ding. Also here a little longer fly curve. Maybe not to Madrid this time, just Frankfurt, Paris. 3 da da. Okay, so but it's clear. And just to give this to students to have it there, you know, and it's more easy if it's written down. Next page. Ah, fermatas, beautiful. Let's do line number A, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Da da ra da 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 da. Ta, ta, stop. A1 is the same notes, but now with dynamic. Let's go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, ba. 2, ra, ba, ba, ba. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 ta. A2 and ra da da do dum dum da 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 da. This was the same evening, the same bottle of wine. When then you start to get creative and you think, oh, let's add some articulation in A2, you know. So, but the didactic idea, of course, is clear. You know? In the first line, you just go for these fermatas. The second line, you add dynamic. In the third line, you have dynamic plus articulation. Okay. So next page.
I think we one more and then we skip to the end. One more.
Yes. No, this is not nice.
Not a good one.
Let's do this. Yeah, yeah. So you see, first line left hand, second right hand. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3 only left. 1, 2, 3 only right. Turn, turn, turn and left. Turn, turn and right. Boom, boom, boom and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, just to give you an idea. And the book is full of these kind of exercises, and I think it's really helpful for study yourself, for teaching, for whatever. And Esther will finish this. I thank you for coming. Thank you for your interest, and I hope it was a little interesting also for you. And see you later.
Yeah.
Only join Jan. Thanks for your attention and thanks to Jan for all this work during daytime and nighttime and for staying with us today. And thanks to Marek and Ludwig for the mental and technical support. It's always a bit difficult with all those apps and stuff. So here are some more informations. Of course, there is. Well, I'd start with the first one. The Choral Ties project, I already told you, we are happy to be in. There is a whole list of webinars, and there's a playlist. This is why it is registered today as well. Check it out. And there's another webinar coming up on the 14th of November with Jan. So if you have more questions on choral conducting, join us there. And if your choral singers perhaps need help, because now they're really doing what you want them to do, but they still need practice at home, there is another practice aid we did for choral singers. That's the second QR code. And then, of course, there is our, the conductor's coach itself. And we have small postcards here. You can take one, because there's a 24-hour free trial for everybody. So there's a QR code on this one. And what should I tell as well? I think you just come here for questions, because we didn't have the time now for questions. So Jan is here, we are here, you can try it out. We are here all the day, so just come and see us and we can show you on the app or on my desktop. So thank you very, very much.